Hello. Welcome. Welcome. I'm kind of nervous right now because we have a storm blowing through, high wind, so hopefully it doesn't mess up anything. But we'll hopefully it'll stay fine and won't disrupt this. But so hold on, I gotta make sure that it's okay. So I going through this, I'm trying to figure out where to like start, where to begin, and the only thing that I can do is I can just start where because I could start from the beginning of the music video and go through like the settings and stuff, but I want to cover because there were two scenes that I had planned, like right when Blue Jay suggested that or told me we're doing a music video. I had two scenes already planned out for what I wanted to see, and that kind of builds everything. So hold on, I'm going to do this, kind of getting things ready, because it takes a fair amount of time for it to load. Alright, so let's stop this. This is the instrumental version of The Boy Within, which I absolutely have fallen in love with listening to it. I love it. But I don't want to have distraction going on. So this this one scene that I wanted to see, I had when I was writing the script, I'm like, okay, I kind of didn't give him, like full on, like I gave him places where he could improvise and stuff, but there was something where I'm like, okay, I want to see this movement. And one of the movements was this scene. Let me expand this a bit. And it was this scene. Let me see if I can get this may be a bit choppy, just because it's Filmora, which it does it. So I may have to run through it a couple times. But so this scene was pulled directly from a scene from the book, and it's where he's in the hallway. He's in the hallway of his house, and the sensations attack him from either side. And so I wanted to have that where it's the arm being drawn in and it's pulling it in, and then I have it, later on where it's pushing them aside. But this, doing all of this, having it cut was so hard to do, so fun, but so hard to do because there's no split that you can see. But for the longest time, there was a split down the center where the light you could see it. And I'm like, I don't know if I can fix it. I don't know if I can get it perfectly. And it ended up being to where I could, to where it just ended up matching perfectly. But it was a pain in the ass to do it. But I got it. And it was a fun, cause even with this one, cause like right here, it's still messed up. But I mean, I liked how it came out. It was interesting. I was just worried about not being able to execute it. That was the entire thing when I was doing the script. Was what can I execute? What can I do? What am I capable of doing? And it doesn't look like cartoonish or like I don't know cartoonish, but because the flame you can do fairly easy. The flame with ED to do it, I just had to flip it so when it goes away from him, it would coming toward. But this having cold was really hard to get because you don't have the direct thing like fire, or if I do it with snow, and I'm like I don't want snow. I just want ice, cold. But it ended up working because the way the words are, it's what is it? Encased. And so I have it to where it's like an encasement right here, but not fully over him. So I'm like that works. I like that. That worked for me. But it's still like I could have done something else, but in the moment I did what I had, and I think it works. So and then could there's like and then like the and then going into relentless tolls. So I did it. So when I first got the bundle of when I got the first bundle of footage, I went into this scene and did it right off the bat. This scene and then the death scene was the one that I did right off the bat. Just because I'm like, these are going to be the hardest ones for me to work around to figure out what I'm going to do. But so I got the fire scene and stuff, and I went into relentless toll. I'm like, what am I going to do? And so I went on a walk. I went on a lot of walks during the creation of this, and just kind of listened to the song, and just kind of was thinking about what I could do. And with Relentless Toll, when he holds out the note, I saw the repeating of, let me see, like the quick repetition. I saw that in my head, and so I'm like, well, maybe I can do it. And so I went and did it, and it looked good. It was fun to do. But I'm like, where am I gonna have him? What setting am I gonna have? Because I have two main settings that I use throughout this. But I'm like, what do I want to have this be? And unbeknownst to me, because when I went back and looked for this scene in particular, I'm like, okay, because I wanted to pull it out to see what it to actually get the scene. Following it in the book is a like mental scene of a platform, and I had already had the platform in there because this platform is very important to the story, and I wanted to make an appearance at least just for a little bit, and I didn't realize that in the book they happen right after one another. So it was just like a subconscious put together. It was cool to see. So, but yeah. So we have that. That was a cool scene to do. I had fun with that one, and then the other one that I knew right off the bat was this. With the solo part. Because I'm like, okay, there's a lot of stuff that happens. The solo, we are silent for a long time. And I'm like, okay, this, when I was doing the script, I'm like, this is the only part where I'm going to have actual text from the book. And the text that you see is from the start of the book, when even before the actual story starts, I am walking beside the reader as we kind of get into the town, and we are looking up at the clock, and that's where you see these words. That you see these words. They kind of just lay out what's going to happen, what's coming, and I figured that they would be perfect because this is going to be followed by the fade out to death, and so I'm like, that would be perfect to put in, but when we got the new footage, because this is why there's a different changes footage, because with this footage, he had moving too quickly, and I couldn't green screen him out perfectly to where I wouldn't lose his arms, or where I would have the green screen still in the picture. So I had to ask him to get to do slower footage, which actually looked extremely nice. I like this new footage that we got because it's very, very cinematic looking. But green screening that was so hard to do. But it looks so good. And what's really cool about this one is when I switched out stuff, it looks like he's actually looking at the text. So it was kind of cool to have that, because it's like he's actually reacting to the text, which was really cool to see. And being able to play with that. And then we're just having him react to the music and what's going on. He did perfectly. I had so much fun doing this. I really hope he did too. Oh, the wind picked up. Hmm. So those were two scenes that I knew what I was doing right as I was writing the script. Everything else he kind of fell into place uh, when I got the footage and I was reacting to Blue Jay's performance, and so it was just really cool to work with that because it turned into something that I like to do, fanfics. So I was able to just respond to not only him but the music as well. So it was nice to have that happen. Um, there was another. Trying to get my mind to work. I'm nervous about doing this because I've never been able to do something like that before. So I'm like, I get jumbled with what I'm gonna say and talk about. Um, but death was definitely one thing that I focused on because I'm like, there's so many things I could do with this, and I went through many different things where that. Oh no, I did it with a different in a different one because I had to break it up to kind of like practice so I could see what I'm gonna do. But with because like how we have Break of Death in the in the solo, and so I'm like, okay, right here, there. I could have done a lot more. He gave me a lot of footage to play with that I could have used, but it's like that's not what I'm looking for. But I'm like, let's do Mean to an End because Mean to an End was the very first subtitle of the book before Brink of Death, and I used Mean to an End quite a lot in the story. So having it come into play there was nice to see. And this was a pain in the ass to do because I had. Let me see here. Let me see if I can zoom in. Because I tried to get to where whenever he moved his hands, that his body would light up, would become less translucent. And it was just very, very hard to get perfectly, but I think it looked good in the final run through. But it was just, oh man, this was just an amazing thing to be able to do. And then like, there's a couple of like clips where he gets up, where he stands up, and it's like, I could do that, but I'm like, because I did a couple of them where he stood up and you saw it, but it's like, I like the fact of him being kind of pulled into the light and then dropped back into our, what I call home base. Because it's like, let me see. Let me go back here. and then I have it all, like gold and stuff. Which was also another hard thing to do because I'm like, I don't want to have it be cheesy or anything, but I wanted it to be not overwhelmingly bright, but also just having that golden light. And so having what was it? What did I use? Overlay. It's an overlay that I use. So because the blue is something that I wanted to. It was either this or a sunset, because they both play a huge part in the alternative ending. But I figured maybe having this just the blue kind of just shatter apart, and it just worked well because it wasn't too overwhelming to where you were asking where you were, what was going on. It was just a very simple black or blue smoke, and then having it shatter it into the gold that follows. So yeah, and my biggest gripe with this is the fucking tape. And you can see it here, not here, but and you can't see it here, but in the video you can see it. The fucking tape. I just couldn't get rid of it, so it's like, oh god, how am I gonna play with it? So I hit it for the most part. There were just some parts where I just couldn't get rid of it, and it's like, this is just what it is. But let me pull this back a little bit. And because of course at the start you have the normal the looking down and then the looking up. It was just a very cliche start that I absolutely love. But the reason behind the heartbeats at the start was just my way of like, you're going to be experiencing something. This is more than just a song. This is the story being told. And so that was just me just doing a very cinematic kind of start. It's just the heartbeat. And then I introduced the clock at the very start, which is a representation of fate. This is how I play with fate throughout the clock. And then right before I found, what was it? Let me... Because I found this doing my playhead fell on that image, and so I'm like, I like that. I'm gonna take it, and I told Blue Jam, like, when we start promoting this, I'm going to be using this. And up until that point, this was going to be the thumbnail art. I don't have the stuff here, but I showed them in the other video, in the other stream I did for when the music video came out. But we were going to use this for the cover art because I don't know, just when you're looking at cover art, you have it's abstract and stuff. So I'm like, well, this works. I like this. This is kind of that whole Poison representation, and then so, but he liked that. Picture so much that he like. I'm going to use it for the cover art. I'm like, go for it. I like that one a lot better because it just showed. It was a good action shot. It's like, this is what you're going to experience when you listen to this song and watch the video. And so it was cool. But I kept that in just because it was like, I just wanted to. It just kind of sold it for me. And then having the heartbeat, the pulsing. And then I don't know why. I still don't know why I used the light background. I know I'm gonna use the stage, the dark stage flooring, but I don't know. I think it just melded with me because it's like I like it. It just works. I think it's a representation of the kidnapping and with the light blinking. It's like not totally sure, but it just works for me. What the fuck was that? There's noise going on outside. So I had all that stuff pretty much planned out, and I just... Now, I didn't realize, I had completely forgot that I had done a video with the Poison Within about a year ago. Well, over a year ago now. But I used this cup to represent the poison. And so I wanted to use it again because I didn't want to do anything, too out of the blue or too cartoonish. And so having just a cup full of foggy was it, but it's poison. For me, it works. And so it's not too jarring when you watch it, so at least I hope not. But and then this, what is it? Yeah, when I first started, I tried to switch. I wanted to jump background, but it's like I needed to keep the background kind of consistent. And we would go back to the starting point. We would always go back to that one. And so this one, I kind of focused on being the one where it's like, this is just in his mind. And then, yeah. So they wanted the trap, so I bring in the chains. Can we talk about change later on in the story in the song? So it's like, okay, I need to bring those in, and they just worked because it's like I could have had it to where it was a complete, like a wall of change kind of go over him, but it's like, I don't want that. but then having this one kind of like in the background in case name, it kind of, I'm like, yes, that works. And so most of this stuff went in the script, like all the background stuff. They were me reacting to his performance and then the words, and that's how I love to do it. And he just played it so well. It would like it just, yeah. I don't know. I can't praise him enough for doing such a good job with this. So, and then this is the first actual, the first bringing in of the clock. Now the clock is used for that end, and then I use it to represent fate. And as you watch the video, it slows down as it gets closer to death. That was definitely by design, just showing that it's like we're closing in, and this is fate's. This is what fate wants. Everything that is in the book, and stuff, the tool for fate, the phantom, his mom, and then Abigail is all a tool for fate. But mainly what fate wants with him is Colson to be killed by the phantom. And so that's why this, having the clock there and then having it wind down is so important. So, because they're in the confrontation of the book, and so and then we come into this part. It cuts out. So I went the longest time not knowing what I was going to do in that section, because I had everything else planned out, but this, I completely forgot that we had a big gap of not singing. I'm like, what am I going to do? And so I played off of this, because he reacts to the music, which is something that I absolutely love to do, and I'm like, okay, I can use that. And so I'm like, well, why not just use a bit of like the kidnapping? And so cause like this background I use a lot when I am, like when I would promote the book, this comes up a lot. And so the door being closed, and there was something missing. I didn't have myself written into this at all, but it's like there's something missing, and I'm like, this is the only place I would have meaning to have the phantom in it, that imposing force. Because we did speak about him at the very start, from his lips, the poison from his lips, and so we do point to it, but in that regard, many people don't know who he is, which is fine. But it's like, I want to add in the phantom. But I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do that, because I could go in and use like this stuff that's going to take forever to load in. Um, Stock footage that I use a lot, but it's like doing it with people. I'm like, that's extremely hard, because they don't have free movement, and it's like, okay. So I spent about a good like couple days going through it. I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to input myself as a phantom, but I'm not going to show my face at all. I wanted to keep it just as in the dark, and just have a person there. And so I reached out to Blue Jay. I'm like, hey. So I came across a section where I'm like, I need to have I need to add in a person, the Phantom, and I'm like, would it be okay if I threw myself in there? And he was like, yeah, go on, have fun. And so it's like, okay. Because I'm not used to having, that full creative control, and where people are like, yeah, go on, have fun. And it's like, oh, okay. But this one, so I don't know if you can see it, but I went through and did and cut it to where it's both real and not real, because that's, for the longest time, is people who are against him are saying that this is not real, it's all made up, or it was all done by him. But of course Colston knows that it's real, but nobody else believed him. So that's why I had it to where the Phantom is fading in and out of reality, just to hone in that feeling of isolation. And then you have the microphone, which I used. What was it? Let me pull it up. Oh, that's not it. Let's go through here. Because the microphone is already black and white. Oh no, it's not. It's a filter I used. Where is it? So I used this, and then just squished it together and was able to make it seem like cracks or blood, because I'm like, I couldn't really distinguish the color, but it is red, but you just can't see it with the filter I used. So it leaves it up to interpretation of what is going on, but I like it because it's one of those things where it's like, what is this? And then when I was doing this, at first I had the bar set behind him. I wasn't having it to where the whole thing was interacting with him, but I'm like, when I did the fire, because this is the first time we see the cold and the fire introduced into the song. But when I did the fire, I had him, actually in the fire and laying down. And so I'm like, well, let's change this and put the bard in front so that he's tracked, that this thing is encasing him. And then we have the escape to kind of just bring it back out into the song. And I added yet another piece of dialogue. Said, "You can't get away." Just driving everything home. And then we get into verse 3. Of course. Leave it to my fucking system to crack. So going through this one, because jumping back and forth in between these, I didn't have a very distinct purpose. I tried to, but I don't think it stayed. But I just didn't want to stay in one place for too long. And so it just worked, switching it around, because then we come up with I didn't have anything to do worn, to make it look worn. And so I'm like, well, if I'm gonna have to do crack, which works, but I am kind of, that is where I'm like, okay, I want to match it perfectly, but when I can't, it is frustrating, but I make it to where it's like, okay, how will I be okay with this? And so having the crack slowly happen, it just works. And so yeah, that film shake didn't shit. Oh no, it does. It doesn't go as long as I wanted it to. But this was one of those one where I kind of forego continuity a little bit, because trying to match the color was really, really hard for some of these. And so when I changed this one, because I didn't like the first portion of this, and so I just had that. But he is getting up off the ground, but I cut that portion because it was just really, really hard to green screen out and make it look good because I didn't have a clip of him getting down onto his knees, and so it's like, but I think it works. What is this? And the facial expression are almost the same, which is amazing. But yeah. Um, and there was one thing that was in the script with him yelling at the end of this. I think actually. Hold on. I'm gonna match back here, and I'm gonna pull up the script and see if this was where I had him yell, do a silent scream. Let me look at this. Okay, hold on. I'll do some matching here. Um, I know you guys can't see anything, but hold on. Okay, so it's okay. I just have to find the part. No. Oh yes. So this is this is the script, and it's so any more at a silent scream. And so most of the script was followed, cause like we do the whole pulling the arm thing and stuff. And then even when I was doing Fate, it was a total blackout because I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna show Fate at that time. And then I did it for the clock. I used it for the clock, but oh yeah, this was one thing. Oh god, this kept making my system crash so much trying to work with the chains. Because I'm like, I have to do something here because for most of this, nothing is going on behind him. It's just in a dark background. And I'm like, I need to play with something. So I decided to do the chains. And I just used, let me see. I just used this one right here. And just finagled it around him, and then had it closed in. It was fun, but it was very, very difficult to do because my system kept crashing. Just during this section alone, I crashed about 5 times just doing this entire scene. Because not only did I have to change the chain a little bit, but I also had it to where I did have it with the other footage, but I like the fact that that entire squeezing of it. I'm like, okay, I'll use this footage instead. So I had to move the chain a little bit to match, to be like what's going on the chest. So. And we get to the oh, we froze a little bit. But it was also one thing that because I didn't want to use another like religious thing like the Bible cracking. I didn't want to use another one of those again, so I just used a candle being blown out. Because candles is another representation, at least for me, for religion. So having it blow out and then the clock coming in because yeah. Because, and then if you go back, you see the clock is starting to slow down. I think, hold on. Whoops, that's not the right one. There it is. Speed. Yeah, because I had it set at 32 seconds, so it's a little bit slowed. And then having it slow down. And then yet another, and then we have another screen, but this is in the and then this is where the this is where the cover came from this right here, having my playhead fall here, and I'm like, hey, this looks good. But I just like the look. It's just so cool looking. Cause even the clock on this one is significantly slowed, and I think it has a filter on it too. Let me look at that. Yeah, it's 14 in the filter. He had a hallucination. So that's why you see kind of the clock is kind of had that ghosting effect. And then we get into because they were trying to maneuver, trying to have the text play behind them. It's something I really, really like. But it's like, he's standing in the way of lies. Like, and so I have to shift him over just slightly. And so it's like, and I do the same thing. I mean, I could have done it. I didn't really have to shift them over for Dawn, but I just felt like I needed to, so people could actually see what it said. But what I tried to do was have because I had the brink of death being that red. Being that red and black. And then when I did light dawn, I tried to match the gold that you would see at the end. And this was just perfect. I love this. The silent crying, and then we go into this. Oops. Shit. Then we go into death, which there are so many different ways, there were so many different, like, usage of this I could have used, but this one was perfect because I like how he falls. He goes to a knee, and then his arm is folded, and then it drops. It just, for me, it just worked. Because, like, he didn't fully collapse to both knees. There's still that want to fight. That still fight of, like, it's coming, but he hopes that he survived whatever is coming. And there was also one thing that I put in, that I knew that was going to be put in, was the EKG element. I thought it would be cool just to play with that.
This is my final breath.
This is just my the footage being too. It didn't like the footage. The footage was too much for my software, so it loaded the pain in the ass. So.
This is my final breath. Defy your fate. Defy your fate.
So all up into up till here is all. There definitely places in the book that is like, okay, I see, definitely comparison and stuff. But we get to here for the end, it's like I honestly didn't know what to do here. I honestly didn't know what I was gonna do in this section, but this became my favorite section to do because it turned into a celebration of life, which is something that I truly, truly enjoyed. And so,
I reject the cup of venom as I push away the poison from my lips. From my lips.
we have the cup, and so when I was reversing it, I didn't completely clean the cup out because I wanted to show that it's still there, but not as prevalent as it was at the start. There's still residual effects from that.
And God's light begins to shine.
And then I really wish I didn't have this stuff floating around, but I do, but I could have used only what I had access to. And so that's what I had. Hold on. My throat getting. And I also had to keep us in the same, like, area, but just painted in gold. And watching his performance, because this is just his take, but it's like he brought so much life to this performance that it's like, okay, I'm going to play off him. And so it was able. So it was. And honestly, I don't know why I did it in a black background, but it was just something that just like, it just made sense. And so, with a black background. But I have a big, like, making sure that everything came together and had an ending. So we're bringing back not only the cold and the flame and pushed off the side, but not completely gone because it's still there. And then we have the chains that are, they're released. So. Because I did play with the idea of maybe the change is too much. Maybe I could do it at a later time, but I'm like, it makes sense to do it here. So we have everything doing having a cohesive ending where it just pushed off to the side. Because they aren't completely gone. They would never be completely gone. They're still going to be there. But they aren't as, like I said, prevalent. God damn. And then this is one of my favorites. Oh. Having it jump between three of them. Absolutely love that. And then we have this.
My soul's forged in the final crucible. My body's been steeped in blood.
I'm trying to think of what. Oh, whoops. My stuff's jumping around. Because in the script, I had him on his knees for this chorus, but he did it standing up, and there was something about it because it's like, okay, no, you're on your feet, you survived, but you're going back through and just kind of like reiterating what you've been through. And so instead of having us go to a dark background or being in one of the backgrounds that we've been in, I just kind of layered it over the background that we know.
My body's been steeped in blood. My mind's been wrought with terror. My heart's been on the line. Yeah, I survived and now I'm in control.
And it's so fun.
Belongs to me. And although I'm deeply marked and scarred, I now have a song to sing. A song for the ones I love. A song for this brand new life. For I have served fate's stranglehold. I have survived.
And it's funny because you can see the cuts. Because this is me trying to clean up the green screen and trying to clear that up.
It's the poison within. The poison within.
And then we just
Poison within.
and then that was the ending pose that I wanted him to do. And so it all came together. But I like the fact that it's like we start out in the dark and we end in the dark. So it was just a full circle moment. But and then we have all the blooper with it, which like, okay, I have to include those because they were so fun to watch. And it showed that, at least for me, it showed that he was enjoying himself doing this. So that made it all worthwhile. There is one that I do want to show a full thing of, and I think it's because seeing this kind of changed the outcome of the yeah, I gotta let it load before I even play it. Cause if I don't let it load and play it, it'll crash on me. So I gotta let it load. But and it might be hard to hear. I'll try to adjust the volume because the volume is kind of quiet on this one. But it was just how the woman helping him, how she encouraged him to keep going, and it was so cool to see that it's like, okay, Rosie, I think her name is. I'm horrible with names, so I apologize if I do it wrong. Rose. Oh no, that's our mixer. Um, Joyce. My bad. Getting name confused. I'm sorry. Um, but she saw that he was on the roll, and she like keep going, and so it just kind of gave a certain tone to the performance that I definitely wanted to capture. So I'm waiting for it to load. I would mess around with some stuff. So. It's so slow. But having footage, because I did run through this like a normal fan fiction, because like I'm just pairing movement with to the music, so it was nice. But also where it's like I had hand in what movements were made, and it's like it was just surreal to do it, to sit here and it's like this is something I'm used to doing, but it's like this is mine. This is there's a deeper depth to this than what I've done. So I really really hope to do this again. It was so much fun. It was hard, but it was so much fun. Okay, we're getting set up. Yeah, I think this is the one that he does. That is the I'll definitely try to turn this up so you guys can hear it because it's very, very hard to hear. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to go into audio. Turn it up. And then what I could do, like, go into, actually, let me see. It's a bit quiet, so what I'm going to do is what, oh, I need to do this. Let's do height track, normal. Oh God. So audio 6. Go into no, that's not what I wanted. Master control. Go into video 6. No, enhance it. Oops. Go away. A little bit. See, not that and like that was one of the thing that I wanted to use for the revival and stuff, but it's like I could use it, but I like the fact of it fading back in, so it just, I don't know, it would just work.
Keep going.
Hearing her say keep going, just kind of, and then seeing him just kind of just flow with the music, it was like, oh, I love it. So that one really kind of helped me shape the tone of the ending, just hearing that. So it was a lot of fun to just like, okay, I'm gonna delete that. Cool. And I do have because of the whole green screen thing, I do have a completely different timeline with the new footage of what I dubbed it, what we dubbed it actually, and so but he enjoyed the performance that the original footage gave, so maybe I'll show the version 2 at some point later on, but for now, this is what it is, and it works, so it was so fun. It was so fun to do. It's just a challenger wall. I really want to do it again. Because there was something so satisfying about doing it with footage that you had a hand in creating and stuff, and so it was just so much fun. I hope that was interesting. I've always never thought doing this stuff because it's like you're just going through a process of creating stuff. And it's like most people don't really care, but I like when I like watching people's processes on stuff, especially creative processes like writing and stuff. And so this is just me throwing my stuff into the ring. Because I was able to do this in a medium that I love, but I couldn't have done it alone. Writing, I will do by myself. That's something that I'm comfortable doing that by myself, but when it comes to music, I just can't. And luckily, Blue Jay was just a joy to work with. And just being able to have the creative control over this was just so much fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you guys enjoyed the song and the video, and I hope you guys do enjoy the book when you guys get it. And yeah, because this is just an extension of the book. It's so crazy to say that, but it is. But yeah. So that's a little bit of behind the scenes of how that was made. Very fun. And I still want to do it again. But yeah. We have heavy wind blowing in, so I think I should stop now before everything that kind of goes to the wayside. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope. And if you guys have any other questions about it, please ask me. I would love to answer it. Um, but yeah, and it's also one thing. I don't think I mentioned it, but I'm a very very cinematic type person, so I wanted to make it look very cinematic. I hope I did. I hope I did justice. But yeah, thank you guys, and I will see you guys in the next stream. All right, see ya.
My soul